It's midnight and you're tuning into Nightline with me, Nurin Razmyn. The top stories. Malaysia calls for veto power held by P5 in UNSC to be more inclusive. And students crossing Sungai Gulok to attend school. Education Ministry to investigate. Good morning. We begin with this story. A man was injured in a collision involving 7 vehicles on the North Klang Valley Expressway and KVE northbound after the Subang exit on Tuesday night. The incident, which occurred at around 9 p.m., caused severe traffic congestion towards Shah Alam, with only the left lane of the highway open to vehicles. 10 officers and personnel from the Damansara Fire and Rescue Station were dispatched to the scene after being alerted to the incident. Upon arrival, a 36-year-old male driver was found trapped inside his vehicle. The victim was successfully extricated and handed over to the medical team for treatment. In Sabah, a woman was killed while her 11-year-old son was seriously injured after they were hit by a train near Kampong Petagas in Putatan on Tuesday. The incident occurred at 1:58 p.m. while both were crossing the railway tracks on their way home from school. The train was en route from Beaufort to Kota Kinabalu when it struck the 2 victims. The mother, identified as 41-year-old Lina Gabin, was confirmed dead at the scene. Her son, who lost his right leg and sustained injuries to his hand and head, was rushed to Queen Elizabeth I Hospital in Kota Kinabalu for treatment. The woman's body has been handed to the police for further action. Malaysia has called for the veto power held by the Permanent 5 Countries, or P5, in the United Nations Security Council, UNSC, to be more inclusive. In making this call at the G20 summit in Rio de Janeiro, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said the move is necessary as it was about ideals, humanitarian values. According to the current UNSC setting, its 5 permanent members are China, France, Russia, the United Kingdom, and the United States, which Anwar described as grossly unfair.
We're talking about representative, adequate representation. There's no representation from Africa, no representation from Latin America. Who cares? This is a fundamental question. We are here talking about global governance, and there is a strong resistance against reform of a fundamental, critical international organization that must be representative.
Anwar added that reforms of the UN have been in discussion for over 5 decades. He also stressed that the call for the reform of the UN must include principles of representation. The Prime Minister's call aligns closely with the G20 Rio de Janeiro's Leaders' Declaration, which underscores the need for transformative reform of the UNSC. The reform is aimed at aligning the Council with the realities and demands of the 21st century. Speaking to the Malaysian media after the summit, Anwar revealed that Malaysia has joined the Global Alliance Against Hunger and Poverty, an initiative led by Brazil's G20 presidency to accelerate progress towards eradicating hunger and poverty while promoting Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. He said Malaysia's participation in the alliance reflects its commitment to the 2030 agenda, ensuring that no one is left behind in tackling hunger and poverty. Anwar pointed out at the G20 summit in Rio de Janeiro that ultimately a collaborative commitment to such goals will lead to a world where hunger and poverty are eradicated and all people can thrive.
Tetapi ini terikat juga dengan sistem kewangan antarabangsa, sistem perdagangan antarabangsa yang juga kita singgung, dan masalah kebuluran dan kelaparan dan kemiskinan yang dihadapi oleh negara yang dijajah ataupun diserang secara ganas seperti mana yang berlaku ke atas penduduk Palestin dan Gaza.
As ASEAN's chair next year, the Prime Minister said Malaysia would collaborate in regional efforts to boost resilience, reduce poverty, and improve governance. Anwar participated in the session at the capacity of a guest country. It marked Malaysia's first G20 summit appearance since 2015 in Turkey, where it took part as an ASEAN chair. At the same media conference, the Malaysian delegation to Brazil, led by Prime Minister, has secured 6.8 billion ringgit in potential exports over the next 5 years. This followed a roundtable meeting between the Malaysian delegation and 58 captains of industry, representing 28 major companies and business groups in Brazil.
Mesyuarat meja bulat dengan 56 pemimpin industri perniagaan dari 28 syarikat terkemuka Brazil dan 19 Malaysia. Jadi dengan potensi ekspor 68 bilion ringgit yang tempoh 3 hingga 5 tahun akan datang.
Among the products identified are oil and gas services, semiconductors, palm oil, and aerospace components. Anwar added that the visit also successfully explored business collaboration opportunities that will further enhance trade relations between the two countries. The Education Ministry, MOE, will investigate reports of students from Thailand crossing Sungai Gulok daily to attend school in Malaysia. Its Minister, Fadlina Siddiq, said that her ministry takes the issue seriously as the number of students reportedly using illegal crossings to travel to Kelantan is very high. According to Fadlina, such a situation should not occur if the students are Malaysians, as the government has provided various access and facilities to education for its people.
Anak-anak ini adalah warga negara Malaysia, sepatutnya dia bersekolah maknanya dalam Malaysia dan tidak timbul isu maknanya dari segi keselamatan mereka crossing menyeberangi sungai itu. Tapi kita akan siasat dalam bil maklum tentang perkara ini kerana bilangan yang didakwa itu sangat tinggi.
A local daily reported on Tuesday that nearly 500 students from Thailand use illegal crossings daily to attend school in Rantau Panjang. Checks revealed that as early as 6:30 a.m., students would wait for boats to cross into Malaysia with a fee of 1 ringgit per student. 5 illegal crossings popular among students include Pangkalan Jambu, Ibrahim Pencen, and Paun. On Monday, Kelantan Police Chief Datuk Muhammad Yusof Mamat said that police will arrest any Malaysian using illegal routes to cross the Malaysia-Thailand border, especially along Sungai Golok from December 1st. Commenting on the issue, Yusof stated that discussions will be held with relevant parties. The state police will also consult the National Security Council regarding the enforcement of the ban on the use of illegal crossings. Parents of students living in Golok, Thailand had previously requested an exemption from the authorities to allow their children to use these crossings to attend school in Rantau Panjang. Malaysia's palm planters are urged to embrace artificial intelligence AI technology. Plantation and Commodities Minister Datuk Seri Johari Abdul Ghani said this can help reduce reliance on foreign labour and increase output in a bid to improve productivity.
Dia boleh menyebabkan banyak kos dapat dikurangkan. Contoh energy cost. Kedua, water, utility yang kita pakai. Nombor 3 tadi staff boleh kurang 35%, terutamanya foreign workers. Jadi ini kalau dapat diguna pakai teknologi ini kepada mana-mana palm oil mill, dan saya tak langsung dia juga boleh mengurangkan pekerja asing.
He was speaking after launching the world's first ever AI-based smart palm oil mill in Kuala Kangsar, Perak on Tuesday. The technology, provided by Eri Sendirian Berhad and implemented at Minsawi Industries Sendirian Berhad's palm oil mill, integrates AI, sensors and predictive tools to streamline the processing of palm oil. Johari noted that the system could serve as a model for other palm oil mills and utilize local talent to operate the technology. Malaysia, the world's second largest producer of palm oil, currently operates 446 palm oil mills. Nearly 80% of Malaysia's plantation workers are migrants, mostly from neighboring Indonesia. In Selangor, the Customs Department seized 8.39 million sticks of contraband cigarettes worth 6.38 million ringgit in an operation in Port Klang on November 12. In the 11 a.m. raid, custom officers inspected 6 containers and arrested a local shipping agent in his 50s to facilitate probe. Customs Enforcement Assistant Director General Razmyn Alias Mustafa said that the total seizure is valued at 784,117 ringgit, with an estimated unpaid tax of 5.61 million ringgit.
Mereka menggunakan dagangan yang kita takrifkan sebagai dagangan jenis campuran, di mana di hadapan, di belakang pintu kontena terdapat snacks, junk food untuk menutupi rokok-rokok yang di mana kami syaki ianya bertujuan untuk mengelak daripada dikesan oleh pihak berkuasa.
Razmyn explained that the investigation is currently focused on identifying the importer of the cigarettes. Initial investigations confirmed that the cigarettes did not come with an import permit. Kedah police were on the hunt for 4 male suspects linked to an armed robbery attempt at the oil palm collection center in Kampung Perak, Sungkup, Bukit Salambau on Sunday. In the incident, 3 masked men dressed in black, armed with pistols and machetes, failed to enter the premises. In a statement on Tuesday, Kuala Muda District Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Wan Azharuddin Ismail said police received a report of the incident at 1:50 p.m. on the same day. The attempted robbery, which was caught on a closed-circuit television (CCTV) camera, showed 3 individuals rushing towards several workers outside the premises while another suspect waited in the car. One of the suspects smashed a window and fired a shot into the ceiling before all 3 fled in the car. No injuries were reported, and the case is being investigated under the Firearms Act. The 2024 Malaysia International Halal Showcase MIHAS Expo in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, recorded an outstanding 500 million ringgit in export sales on the first day. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said that the expo can exceed the initial export sales target of 1 billion ringgit.
Dan kita tahu bahawa MIHAS at Dubai yang telah diadakan buat pertama kalinya telah meraih kejayaan-kejayaan yang sangat memberangsangkan. Dan ini menjadi satu galakan untuk pengusaha-pengusaha daripada Malaysia, dari orang Islam atau orang bukan Islam, berkongsi pengetahuan, pengalaman dan juga pasaran untuk menentukan bahawa produk-produk halal yang dikeluarkan di negara kita dapat dipasarkan bukan saja ke negara-negara Islam tetapi juga ke negara-negara bukan Islam yang memerlukan piawaian terhadap halal untuk dipasarkan.
Zahid said this at a press conference after concluding his work visit to the UAE on Tuesday. The expo has enhanced Malaysia's halal ecosystem by providing a platform for 215 Malaysian companies to showcase their halal products and services. The event also reflects the importance of halal diplomacy, which continues to position Malaysia as a strong trading partner in the global halal market. Malaysia's trade expanded for the 10th consecutive month with a year-on-year growth of 2.1%, reaching nearly 244.3 billion ringgit in October 2024. Chief Statistician Datuk Seri Muhammad Uzair Mahidin said the strong performance was driven by high demand from the manufacturing sector. The growth represents a slight increase from the 239.3 billion ringgit recorded in October 2023. Uzair added that exports grew by 1.6% to 128.1 billion ringgit, while imports increased by 2.6% to 116.1 billion ringgit. Trade surplus fell by 7.6% to 12 billion ringgit, marking the 54th consecutive month of surplus since May 2020. From January to October 2024, total trade grew by 9.3% to 2.4 trillion ringgit from 2.2 trillion ringgit. Conversely, trade surplus decreased by 46.3% as compared to the same period in 2023 to post a value of 102.8 billion ringgit. Singapore shares jumped to a 17-year high on Tuesday, powered by a rally in index heavyweight financials as the city-state ramps up efforts to revive its stock market. The Straits Times Index, comprising 30 biggest companies in the city-state, rose as much as 0.9% to touch a level unseen since November 2007. It has gained 16% so far this year, outperforming most of its rivals in the region. In August, the Monetary Authority of Singapore said it had formed a review group to recommend steps to strengthen the development of the equities market in the island country, which hosts more than $4 trillion of assets under management. Among other stock markets in Southeast Asia, Thailand and Taiwan rose 0.9% and 1.4% respectively. Indonesia's newly appointed parliament has added a tax amnesty law revision to its list of priority bills for 2025 following a plenary session in Jakarta on Tuesday. According to the country's chairman of Parliament's Finance Commission, lawmakers are expected to discuss a new tax amnesty to follow one that ended in 2022, with the revised law taking effect as soon as next year. The potential tax amnesty signals the government's intention to raise state revenue next year. If revived, this will be Indonesia's third such amnesty after 2017 and 2022. National shuttlers storm into the last 16. Actions from the 2024 China Masters after this breather.
Lebih segar, lebih dinamik. Laporan komprehensif menghidupkan pagi anda.
Buletin pagi dengan waktu yang baharu. 9.30 pagi setiap hari bermula 1 November.
Datang sebagai kawan, balik sebagai musuh.
Juru teknik pergigian berusia 28 tahun ditemui mati dalam biliknya di rumahnya di kuartus klinik kesihatan Lukut Port Dickson.
Suspek mencapai satu helmet dan mukul beberapa kali di bahagian kepala dan dada mangsa.
Rakyat Malaysia kini lebih kreatif dalam menyampaikan muzik. Pelbagai irama, gaya dan jenis alat muzik yang menyedapkan halwa telinga.
Keputusan KPM muktamad, tiada lagi UPSR dan PT3. Apa reaksi ibu bapa dan masyarakat?
Penjara sesak, akta tahanan rumah sebagai hukuman alternatif.
Dan soal wang, kita bincangkan tentang aksesori mewah, beg tangan dan juga jam tangan sebagai pelaburan.
MHI setiap Isnin hingga Jumaat bermula jam 10 pagi.
Dan juga stream melalui tonton hanya di TV3.
Orang Sarawak, stand by. Kami orang mau ke Sarawak tu. Uji bakat Kalpis Soda 1 in a Million kembali lagi. Dan kali ini kami akan ke Kuching, Sarawak. Ayuh, jom kami-kami hadirkan diri pada 23 dan 24 November ini dari jam 10 pagi hingga 10 malam. Layari media sosial Kalpis Soda OIAM TV3 untuk syarat penyertaan dan maklumat lanjut. Jangan lepaskan peluang 1 dalam sejuta Kalpis Soda 1 in a Million. Segar rasa, sodap suara.
Sports now, badminton. The 2024 China Masters. Malaysia are assured of a men's doubles quarter-final spot at the Super 750 tournament after national shuttlers Aaron Chia, So Woo Yik and Tan Wee Kiong, Razmyn Ayub won their respective first-round matches on Tuesday. World number 5 Aaron Woo Yik, after their last 16 exit at the Kumamoto Masters last week, overcame Indonesia's Shobihul Fikri, Daniel Martin 21-12, 21-18. The 35th ranked Wee Kiong Azrin, meanwhile, extended their fine run by defeating Thailand's Peratchai Sukfun Pakapon Teraratsakul 21-19, 21-15. Wee Kiong Azrin, buoyed by their career-best semi-final finish in Japan last week, will approach their last 16 clash against Aaron Woo Yik with confidence. Joining them in the men's doubles second round were Goze Fei, Nur Izzuddin Rumsani, who came from behind to defeat Japan's Kenya Mitsuhashi, Hiroki Okamura 21-23, 21-14, 21-13 in the first round. The 7-seeded shuttlers will next face Taiwan's Chu Xiangche, Wang Cheilin. Earlier, national mixed doubles pair Cheng Tanjie, To Yi-wei survived an early scare to advance to the second round. The 4-seed bounced back from a first-game loss against Taiwan's A Hong Wei, Nicole Gonzalez Chan, to secure a 21-23, 21-9, 21-12 victory in 58 minutes. They will next play the winner of the match between France's Tom Jikel, Delphine Delroux, and China's Zhou Hihong, Bao Lingjing. Turning to hockey, the 2024 Women's Asian Champions Trophy. The Speedy Tigresses gave China a good fight before losing 1-3 in their semi-finals clash at the Rajgir Hockey Stadium in Bihar, India on Tuesday. China took the lead off a field goal through Deng Kui-chan in the 10th minute. They added another 2 goals in the space of 6 minutes. Fan Yunxia found the net from a penalty corner in the 17th minute before Tan Jin-xuan made it 3-0 in the 23rd minute. Malaysia narrowed the deficit with Khairunisa Ayun Sharudin converting a penalty corner in the 36th minute. It was Malaysia's 9th defeat to China since the 2013 Asian Cup in Kuala Lumpur. On to squash, the 2024 Singapore Open. National squash siblings Ira and Aifa Azman got off to a good start after defeating their respective opponents on Tuesday. Two-time national champion Ira celebrated her career-high ranking of world number 31 by reaching the second round after sweeping past world number 43 Kenzie Ayman of Egypt 11-5, 11-6, 12-10 in just 28 minutes in the opening round. She faces top seed and world number 3 Hania Al-Hamami on Wednesday for a place in the quarterfinals. Joining her was her sister Aifa, who defeated Alicia Mead of England 11-6, 11-4, 12-10. The world number 37 will be meeting national compatriot and runner-up of the Ace Malaysia Squash Open, Siva Sanggari Subramaniam, in the second round. Man drives his car into crowd outside primary school. The details when Nightline returns.
Lebih Lebih segar, lebih dinamik. Laporan komprehensif menghidupkan pagi anda.
Buletin pagi dengan waktu yang baharu. 9.30 pagi setiap hari bermula 1 November.
Musim berganti, cabaran terus menanti.
Winter in America, the toughest of seasons.
Saksikan kisah survival paling epik, America's Wild Seasons. Di Sungai Luangwa, pemangsa paling berbahaya bersaing untuk terus hidup. Africa's Hunters musim ketiga. Jangan lepaskan setiap Isnin, Rabu dan Khamis 5 petang di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
A woman's spirit is boundless. So grab your coffee cups and wear your sassiest smile. Because this season, we're louder than ever. We talk career, health, finance, relationships, and everything in between. Women's Talk is here to empower and inspire you. Join us on Women's Talk every Saturday, 5 p.m. only on TV3 and stream now on Tonton.
Tak nak menang hadiah bernilai RM1 juta ke? Kalau nak, datanglah uji bakat Kopi Soda 1 in a Million. Hujung minggu ni di Kuantan City Mall Kuantan dari jam 10 pagi hingga 10 malam. Nak datang seorang boleh, dua boleh, bawa satu keluarga lagi on. Apa tu lagi? Jangan lepaskan peluang 1 dalam sejuta ini untuk memenangi hadiah bernilai RM1 juta. Kopi Soda 1 in a Million, segar rasa, sedap suara.
Onto the foreign front. Several students were injured after a car crashed into a crowd outside a primary school in China's Hunan province on Tuesday. The third violent incident on the streets in a week, raising concerns about public safety. The incident occurred during the morning rush hour as students were arriving for classes at the Yong'an Elementary School in the city of Changde. Local media reported multiple students and adults were injured, adding that the exact number of people injured was still unknown. The driver of the car was eventually subdued by parents and school security staff and was then handed over to police. It was said that the driver was not a parent of from the school and that the reason for the crash was not immediately known. This was the latest in a recent series of violent incidents that have shocked the country and ignited a discussion about the toll of economic slowdown and the phenomenon of taking revenge on society. Over in the U.S., 2 people have died and a third person was critically injured after a man went on a stabbing spree in Manhattan. New York police said they arrested a 51-year-old suspect following the unprovoked knife attacks at 3 different locations. The first man killed was a 26-year-old construction worker standing near his work site at the time of the attack. The second man killed was a 68-year-old who was fishing in the East River when he was attacked, while the third victim, a woman, was stabbed near the United Nations headquarters and remains in critical condition. A taxi driver saw the woman get attacked and notified police, which led to the suspect's arrest. According to officials, the attacker is a homeless man who had recently been sentenced to a criminal case. The suspect has severe mental health issues that need examination. The motive for the stabbings was unclear. A U.S. envoy landed in Beirut on Tuesday for talks with officials on a truce between Hezbollah and Israel, just hours after a proposal drafted by Washington won a nod from the group.
Both the Lebanese government and Hezbollah have agreed to the U.S. ceasefire proposal that was submitted in writing last week and made some comments on the contents. However, there was no immediate comment from Israel. A diplomat familiar with the talks cautioned that details still needed to be ironed out and these could still hold up a final agreement. He said Israel was trying to negotiate under fire, a reference to an escalation of its bombardment of Beirut and the southern suburbs. Meanwhile, at least 2 people were killed in Israel's early morning strike on Beirut, while 5 others were killed overnight in a strike on the central area of the city. Meanwhile, leaders of the group of 20 top economies concluded with a strong declaration calling for a comprehensive ceasefire in Gaza and Lebanon. The joint statement also expressed unanimous support for a United Nations Security Council resolution which demands that residents on both sides of the Green Line be allowed to return safely to their homes. The declaration also expressed deep concern about the increasingly dire humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip and the rising tensions in Lebanon. The leaders emphasized the urgent need to expand the flow of humanitarian aid, strengthening the protection of civilians, and demand the removal of all barriers to the widespread delivery of humanitarian assistance. A Hong Kong court has sentenced key pro-democracy leaders to years in jail for subversion on Tuesday, following a controversial national security trial. Benny Tai and Joshua Wong were among the so-called Hong Kong 47 group of activists and lawmakers involved in a plan to pick opposition candidates for local elections. Tai received 10 years while Wong received more than 4 years. A total of 45 people were found guilty of conspiring to attempt subversion after 2 people were acquitted. Their trial marked the largest use of the harsh National Security Law, NSL, which China imposed on Hong Kong shortly after the city's explosive pro-democracy protests in 2019. And that concludes Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look as more than 40,000 people protested outside New Zealand's parliament against a controversial bill seeking to reinterpret the country's founding document between British colonizers and Maori people. With that, I'm Nurin Razmyn. Thank you for watching and stay safe.